Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a best of 3 between Scarlett and Jumi, in which Jumi is, look at this, pretending to cannon rush over here. Let's see if Scarlett is buying it. Scarlett's just checking this out with the Overlord. Jumi throws down the ice. Scarlett dances the Overlord as a response to the eye tag over here in the natural. Scarlett didn't really respond with anything. Well, no drones are being pulled off the line. Sometimes you do see it like a preemptive little drone going down there, but Scarlett, experienced, knows that there's no need to pull the boys as long as no pylon is going down. So Jumi will be, just stealing some minerals and pissing off out of here. Let's see what both of these players are going to be capable of. Jumi is a player that actually has shown some, let's call it interesting gameplay in the past. I remember casting a particular game between Jumi and Baby Marine, in which Jumi had a very active Mothership, which isn't common in Protoss versus Terran at all. Nowadays, I feel like it might actually be a useful tool to have. Aggressive recalls, the ability to use Time Warp in combination with Storm or Feedback, in my mind is a powerful tool, but we just haven't seen it so much out of Protoss players. Actually, I haven't seen it out of any Protoss player except for Jumi. Maybe that is an oversight out of the majority of the Protoss population, or perhaps Jumi just has a bad innovation, an innovation that is useless, as most innovations are, of course. Let's have a quick look over here. Scarlett gets the scout in. This is an interesting movement pattern here with the Overlord. You always run the risk, if you do something like this, to lose that Overlord, which is probably not quite what you want. Gonna get the scout here, the confirmation on the Stargate. Second Overlord is out as well, so perhaps even is going to see the first unit out here. First Adept makes its way across the map. It's gonna start smashing this hatchery. I think it's Void Ray. Jumi is a Void Ray abuser. Yeah, there you go. You give Jumi an Overlord for free, he's going to take it with that Void Ray. Right? When life gives you lemons, you kill the Overlord with a Void Ray. Is one of the famous Jumi proverbs. Takes a lot of damage on both of these adapts, or on one of the adapts. Really sloppy. So much damage is going to make it much harder for him to do anything. Scarlett opened up here with a third queen before third hatchery, by the way. This is one of the builds that has gained in popularity among the high-level Zerg players. This is a Serral innovation. Serral has made this build. Double inject, so you delay your initial creep tumor, and then once your third queen pops out, that's when you start spreading creep. So it's definitely a different setup, makes it a little bit easier to deal with the first double adept, and you have really solid saturation as well in your bases. We get the skip on the Spore initially, which is obviously correct, as the Void Ray was the first Stargate unit. So yes, Scarlett is going to end up losing an Overlord. I guess you could call it for free, but you're always going to lose that against the Void Ray. In return, Spore is going to get delayed and might not even be... it has to be built at some point, but it's not being built quite yet. Here we go. 415. The first Spores are going down. One in the natural, one in the third, and none in the main. I'm not entirely sure why that is the case, but that is indeed the case. Okay, there we go. Main base also is going to go down. Void Ray makes its way over towards the third base. The drone count here for Scarlett is phenomenal, by the way. 50 workers against 41. And if you're, these just sound like numbers to a lot of people. They are numbers, so you guys were correct on that. But what do these numbers actually mean? Well, if you, as a Protoss player, get overtaken before the 40 probe mark, so imagine the Zerg has 38 workers and the Protoss has 38 workers, that is generally considered good for the Zerg player. The earlier the Zerg overtakes the Protoss, the better it is. So, if the Zerg is at like 50 and the Protoss is at 40, that is good. At 40, it's about even. Anything before that is in favor of the Zerg. Anything after that, so if Zerg only overtakes the worker count at like 44, so 44 drones versus 44 probes, that is considered good for the Protoss player. So yeah, this was definitely a good opener here for Scarlett, who's already going up to 70 drones right now. And all of this just because of scouting that initial Overlord, being an Overlord rather than an Oracle, so you can delay the Spore a little bit. And also really just not taking any damage from the double Adept chrono. Look at this. Now we're going to get these two Adepts in. So a bit unlucky for Scarlett. Scarlett decided to move out here with those links. As a result, the Adepts managed to just shade by. Are going to get 6 kills here. This is fairly big. Shade finishes up. Is going to, allow this Adept to ascend up to Protoss Heaven. Follow-up is going to be, Charge and Storm Rush. This is probably the greediest build that exists. okay? This is the greediest thing a Protoss can do. Why is that? There is zero pressure here for the next minute and a half, 2 minutes, because you're building up an immortal count, you're getting Storm. If you're fighting against any type of Mura play, you're going to be in a world of trouble. I think a lot of like Ling Ravager all-ins are probably just going to kill this straight up. Look at this. We're freaking 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Sometimes I've seen Serral hit with 160 supply of Roach Ravager and 5 Queens at this point, all right? Imagine what that fight would look like. It wouldn't look very good for Jumi. All right, it would not look very good for Jumi. So this is risky. This is a risky way of approaching the game, but Scarlett hasn't realized what's going on. Scarlett is delaying the infestation pit, is building roaches, is building hydras, and is going to be hitting a timing that is going to play exactly into 4Jumi's hand. Because 4Jumi here is going to be at peak strength at about 9 minutes, I think. It's going to have like 150-ish, 160 supply of 6 Templar with Storm, 5, 6, 7 Immortals. But even at already 8 minutes, he's going to be probably fine at dealing with this setup. Build order-wise, this is as bad as it's going to get for Scarlett, honestly. If you're playing this opener, this is not really what you want to be facing, majority of the time. Because there's going to be so many freaking Storms and a lot of Immortals to provide some backbone in this army. Archon is probably a mistake. There's almost no Lings on the map, so you don't really need it. Like, what's the Ling count here? 19. Actually, 1 Archon, not the end of the world. We're getting 4 cannons blindly, batteries blindly, 2nd robotics facility for more immortal pressure. And now this Zealot run by is going to run into these Hydras and Roaches. First stasis is going to get popped here. Get a 2nd Archon in the mix. I much would have preferred just having more Templar for more Storm. Zealots rushing in here is most definitely a mistake. You want to be keeping these Zealots behind the army so that you can just storm it. You don't want to fight with your Zealots. You don't want to lose your Zealots for free. There's no reason to do that. I think Scarlett is starting to realize that this is not the situation that she dreamt of. Absolutely not. Double stasis over here on the right side as well is going to catch a lot of these roaches. And you have like 2 roaches and 3 hydras now shooting this building. We have 4 cannons here. Oh. Scarlett wishes that, that a lurker den and an infestation pit were already on the map, and that she was at like 86, 90 workers, 5 base, popping lurkers, because that is really what you want against this particular setup. You want to kind of out-greed the greedy Protoss player, or you want to kill them early with a heavy Roach Queen push. But this type of delayed Roach Hydra push can be nice against, Stalker openers or Zealot Archon pushes. Not as great against this. Not as great against this. As we see here, Scarlett has managed to achieve absolutely nothing so far in this game. And now has this big Roach force, which a lot of these Roaches are getting stuck in the stasis ward, which feels pretty useless. I can't believe a Bile there killed a Templar. That is kind of messed up, isn't it? Immortal count is up to 5 right now. Get more stasis wards in the mix. Missile attacks level 2 is about to finish up as well. Archon will need to be pulled back. This is why I don't like Archons, by the way, because they don't synergize so well with the rest of the army. Like, they're just like the Zealot, right? They're just moving forward for no real reason. So it actually gives the Roaches and Hydras something to shoot at. Well, if you just have Temporary Immortal, what are they going to shoot at? They're just going to stand in Storm and then they need to run away again. Prism Harass here is good. This is what you want to be using the Zealots for. Put them in a Prism, drop them, or run them around, kill drones. And then your army is still improving in quality due to you pumping Immortals and Templar. As Jumi's actually moving on the map right now. At 140 supply, he's pretty much still attacking into what feels like a prolonged all-in out of Scarlett. He's building a fort base behind it. I mean, has a stellar setup here with the 4 cannons. But this to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That doesn't mean it can't work or it won't work. It just feels like this is probably the only way that Scarlett can remain alive in this game, if Scarlett manages to clear this push. But we'll see if that's even going to be viable here. 7 extra drones going down. Jumi is just going to move back home. Only has 2 storms remaining. We get a random Templar that was over there. I'm not sure how it got there. As the Prism moves towards the far right. 66 workers to 70. And Mothership is now on the way. I mean, as long as the Immortal count somewhat mimics the Lurker count, this is going to be a very one-sided affair in favor of Jumi. 11 minutes in, he's at 160 supply. Zealot's moving towards the left. Tempest is being built here as well. And I'm having a difficult time seeing how Scarlett's ever going to move out on the map. I guess that is kind of what this force is for. This is going to be a, hey, I want your army to move to the left, so maybe my lurkers can move to the right. Is that the goal here? We have 14 lurkers, which is a significant amount of units. We also have a zealot runway towards the far right. Prism still alive here in the bottom. 5th base only now going up, as well as the 10 gases. So, I mean, Jumi has legitimately one of the best positions possible as Seismic Spines finally starts. Second Stargate, Robo Bay. Not sure what the Robo Bay is first. Maybe Observer Speed. Could go for Disruptors, but I'm generally not a huge fan of the Disruptor to deal with lurkers. I feel like Storm Immortal is just better majority of the time. Storm can also kind of outrange. Tempest can also outrange. I feel like there's very good tools that Protoss has. This +2 air weapon starts, +3 ground is about to finish up. We get some zoning storms here out of Jumi. And here comes the roach run by. Can we get a storm? No, there's no energy actually on this bad boy. Now energy recharge gets used, so we're going to get 2 storms. And the Tempest flies back as well. This is going to open the door for a lurker attack here on the right side. And that is what Scarlett wanted. This was a distraction. She needed to get rid of the roaches. Got rid of the roaches and actually achieved the goal with it as well. Cleared a bunch of cannons and opened up the opportunity to attack through the right side. I think one lurker should have definitely run behind here. Okay, there we go. Lurkers are moving behind this setup as these Immortals are coming in a little line. Scarlett needs to be careful to not lose all of these to the Mothership plus Tempest. There's no anti-air over here. That means eventually this is going to get cleared. Lurker dealing damage. At the same time, Zealot Warpins dealing damage as well on the other side of the map. We're going to get a recall on top of the army. Oh, no way. Absolutely brilliant play here as the Observer shows up. This was such a sick play. I've never seen this. The aggressive recall while chasing. Use the time warp to delay the move away. That was a game saver because Jumi lost so many workers here to this lurker harass and to this little attack. If Scarlett gets this, stick on 10 gas, doesn't lose those 8-9 lurkers, I actually think Scarlett is in an absolutely winning position. Now, after losing those lurkers, there is an issue where, A, we don't have a Spire to deal with the Tempest Mothership, and B, there's an issue that you first need to rebuild your lurker count because the ground force of 11 Immortals, yes, you heard that right, 11 Immortals, is going to be a significant problem to deal with. Mothership is on the far right. Probably could have some support over here. Doesn't have it yet, but would love to see that. Yeah, nice try. I love that the Hydras went in there for a second. They were like, you saw Scarlett select those Hydras and be like, okay, let's fight for 2 more seconds. Then realize there's like 12 Storms in this army, as well as legitimately infinite Immortals. Going to get a Hydra attack on this right side. Note that there are no lurkers with this push. 2 lurkers would make a world of difference here. We're going to get a recall back home. Just a portion of the army, though. Ooh, good split. Honestly, good split out of Jumi. These observers, if they get sniped, are the last bit of detection here. It indeed has been observer speed that was researched. The Mothership comes in for a flank on top of those Hydras. We once again get an aggressive recall. Oh, that was just 2 units, though. This is like a fake aggressive recall. Just to keep the Mothership alive or something. Those are some cool plays out of Jumi, though. That first aggressive recall really changed the course of this game. Scarlett is in a very defensive position. A Spire is a must right now. Can I say that? Yes, I can say that. A Spire is a must. If she's not getting a Spire out, that means she's on borrowed time. Because you can't actually do this. You're not allowed to deal with Tempest by just building Lurker Hydras. Even if you get 20 Lurkers out, like the Tempest are just gonna clear you. And I mean, this Immortal count is already phenomenal. Look at that stuff. Look at that stuff. Jumi is just bursting in here, saying, hello. Are you ready for my 20 Immortals to sell you some fat shots to the face? Scarlett was not quite ready for that. Here we go. Spire finally comes down, but I think it's going to be a bit too late, as the majority of the damage has already been dealt. 15 more Hydras are coming out. I think the only thing Scarlett can reasonably do here is try to attempt somewhat of a base trade. Like, moving forward here with 5 Lurkers into 11 Immortals and 3 Tempest is a losing move. Yeah, GG's gonna get called here as Jumi takes game number 1. And that, my dear friends, brings us to game number 2. And I think, honestly, just an enormous misread out of Scarlett. I really think that is the conclusion that we can draw, because it was a good early game. Good lord, that was an early game that I would sign up for. If I'm a Zerg player and I get an early like that, hell yeah. It was solid. It was solid as hell. Late spores, nice drone count, no pressure on you whatsoever. Like, someone opens up with Charge Archon like that, straight into Immortal, or sorry, Charge Storm Immortal. I wouldn't be surprised if Scarlett could have legitimately gone up to like 90, 95, 96, 97 workers before building more than 10 links. I think it's just possible. She probably could have gone 6 base, 12 gas. Like, Protoss armies are good, but if you're down 6 gas in mining, Acer can do whatever the hell they want. Like, it really would have been a very, very difficult task there. And Scarlett even now still managed to deal a lot of damage. I think there were very good opportunities there where I think if that recall, that Mothership recall plus Time Warp play, the first time it happened, I think had a huge impact on that game. I really do believe that, because it was just a complete loss of map control for Scarlett. It forced like 15, 16, 17 more Hydras and like 8 more Lurkers out as well. But otherwise, you can probably throw down a Spire and start looking at actually countering the army that Jumi is building. This is going to be a 340 Nexus over here. This is off of triple Adept once again into Void Ray. Overlords will need to start moving back to where they belong, which is going to be the main base, or in between the main and the natural, I guess. We're going to see a 5-queen opener here, as Forged Twilight will be the setup. So more likely to go into Blink here than anything else, is what I'm feeling personally. Void Ray makes its way across the map. Sometimes you see these Void Rays get a lot of damage, but it is not super common necessarily that the Void Ray gets like... Who was I watching the other day? It was a PvZ obviously as well. I think it was Max Packs versus Shin or versus Solar, where the Void Ray, maybe Showtime, where the Void Ray got like 5 Overlord kills in the first 3 minutes. Like, whoa, that is not a great start. That is not at all a great start. But so for just a single OB, so it's absolutely fine. Scarlett quickly tacking into layer once more. I'm expecting a Roach Warren to come down here. Surely, yeah, there we go. This is a late Roach Warren, by the way. Oh, Jumi actually... I really thought it was going to be Pimp. It's going to be a 6-gate charge build. 5-gate, 6-gate, 6-gate charge build. Okay. That is interesting. That is very interesting. It's going to be easily scouted here by Scarlett. Scarlett is going to move in. Sees the Zealot there in the back. That is a little bit suspicious. I'd love to see one more Ling being sent in here. Like, once you see 3 Zealots down there, I think that should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Throws down a Hydra then. Cancels the Rotor. I think this is actually the incorrect play. As in, this is allowed if we're rushing out an Infestation Pit as well with this. Okay? I would actually give this a double thumbs up if an Infestation Pit starts here. But actually, no, I wouldn't. I want to see freaking Roaches to deal with the Zealot push. That is what I want. Right now, there's going to be 2 more Queens on the way. So we'll go up to 7 Queens. That is expensive. And then it's going to be Ling Hydra +1. I'm not feeling this. I am absolutely not feeling this. Actually, I think there's a significant chance here that these Zealots are going to be charging in. And as they charge in, Scarlett might just die. There is a chance that Scarlett just dies. See a full pool away here from the 3rd base. If you have 7, 8, 9, 10 Roaches here plus 4 Queens, it's a free win. It's a free hold, it's a free win. You can counterattack with Mass Roach Ravager. This is a misunderstanding of what needs to be done in this situation, because losing 5 Queens to the Zealots, that is not what you want to be doing. It really isn't. Still going to be a hold here in the end, I think. I do believe that the Hydra count is going to be large enough. No control on this one Hydra. This Hydra is being microed back as this Queen stays alive, but 2 Queens. 4th base dies. Storm is on the way. Immortal production is kicking off as well. Well. If it isn't the consequences of your actions here, Scarlett. If it isn't the consequences of cancelling that Roach Warren, despite seeing a Zealot here in the back. This is not good enough scouting. You're not allowed to cancel a Roach Warren unless you see a Stalker count that is high enough. Like, if you see like 2, 3 Stalkers, it's like, okay, I can cancel my Roach Warren. Because most likely it's just going to be mass Stalker from here on out. Of course, there's Protoss players that build like 2, 3 Stalkers and still go for a Glaive or a Zealot attack. Like, there are tricks like that, but it's going to be weaker because it's going to have more Stalkers initially. So really we're going into a very similar setup. Scarlett now is adding in a Baneling nest. So wants to go for Hydra Ling Bane. This is not a common composition at all. This is a very uncommon composition, and we'll soon see why it is an uncommon composition. I can perhaps already, you know, reveal the secret to you guys. If you promise me that you won't tell anyone else. It's because Storm is uber strong against Banelings. Banelings got the HP nerf about 2 years ago, I think at the end of 2023. And ever since then, Baneling styles have pretty much fallen out of favor due to Storm just being too powerful of a counter against it. So I think Scarlett right now, Hydra, Ling, Bane, Infestation Pit, see if we can get 8 gases out and deny a fort base for a little while. If you're up 2 gases, you know what? We get a decent trade at some point. I think we will be fine. Jumi here. Jumi is playing some of the most passive StarCraft 2 that I've seen in my life. And Scarlett just keeps wanting to all-in at a late timing. This is not what you want to be doing. You either all-in with pure Roach against this, or you don't all-in. You just tech heavily. Muta is also like high drone count, fast tech. I think Muta really is not bad against this. I think Muta is actually quite powerful because there's no Blink. Blink is such a Muta killer, right? Blink is such a Muta killer, and there's no Stalkers here. The anti-air sucks. Crease Red, by the way, is insane. Especially given how crappy the early game was, how many queens have died. Like, this Crease Red is bonkers. We have like 5 lanes of individual tumors that are being spread to the very corners of the map. Great stuff, really great stuff. Fleet Beacon is on the way out as well. We're going to get 8 gases right now over here on that fort base. And the rule that I usually use when judging games is that Zerg should always be up 2 gases, minimum. At least 2 gases, ideally 4. Like, if you're up 4 gases, you're winning. 2 gases is probably an even game. You're going to need some decent fights. Banelings are now going to try to run in because this is on creep. That's actually working out. Archons are taking a beating. So are these Immortals. Good movement forward here with the Hydras. We'll snipe, I think it was 2 Archons, 2 Immortals. Or 1 Archon, 2 Immortals. Either way, a good battle. Hive has now finished up. We have a Spire, which I think is practically useless. I much would have preferred seeing something else, like a Lurker Den, for example. That would have been a worthwhile building to throw down. But instead we have a Spire. Like, what is this kind of a Greater Spire? This is like a Broodlord Rush. No way. We're working off 8 gases. No, I don't believe in this. We also have Tempest already coming out. Like, I do not believe in this at all. I do not believe in this at all. Hydras on the bottom side. How many is that? 10, 12? Jesus, we have 34 Hydras in total. I think this is a huge blunder. I think this is a huge blunder. Getting 8 Corruptors out right now. You have a Zealot run by set up. Scarlett knows it. Sniffs it out. Like, hey, you're doing weird stuff, aren't you, buddy? 5th base on the way. We have Frenzy being researched. Or sorry, what's it called? Lunge ability. Nanomuscular Swell. Ooh, it's nice to have like 3 Banelings in here because the Zealot count is so large. That's so funny. Get another Storm, but yeah, Mothership by itself might just be good enough. You can't attack into it, right? It's not possible. You have a couple of Storms available. Archon count, I think, is a bit too high. But it's still going to clear this up. No problemo. I think we're going to get the Brute Morph right now. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. This is Hydra Ling Bane Corruptor. Hydra Brute Lord. I've seen several play with Ultralisks in this matchup, and I think that is already debatable, but Broodlords aren't even debatable. They're just bad. Like, they're not a good unit against stalls. Jumi going Carrier is genuinely a mistake as well, though. I think just sticking with Tempest and Ground is the optimal solution if you're playing against an army that is as crap as the one that Scarlett is crafting. She is crafting a legitimately god-awful looking army. I don't actually think Broodlords can do anything here. Like, once you get like 4 or 5 Tempest out, you're like one-shotting Brutes if you get some good attack upgrades going. I'm not seeing it, lads. I'm not seeing it. Here we go. Brutes now jumping into action. I think the moment you see Brutes over here, it's like, oh, thank God. There could have been like freaking 15 lurkers, you know? But instead it's 8 Broodlords. Oh no. Look at this. These units are just being... this is ridiculous. This is the worst rush I've seen in my life. The Hydras are coming from any side, though. This actually is working out. Templar count is just a single one. Can we snipe it? No, we can't. Snipe is just a little bit too late. Broodlords now coming in from the side. The Hydras are cleaning up this army in a twist that legitimately no one saw coming. I think Scarlett might be capable of holding this push. Still has a lot of money in the bank. Problem here is the 10 gas mining. And only 9 or 8 gases only for Scarlett. So this is going to get cleared. Zealot Rumba is most likely going to kill at least the 6th base over here. We're 14 minutes in game. What is our army composition? 34 links, 23 Hydras. That is not an army composition, all right? That is not an army composition that I would want to have. Absolutely not. So I'm curious to see how Scarlett's going to deal with all that. Like... I don't even know what the plan is. Like the thing about StarCraft is that eventually you're going to need to fight, right? And I am not seeing how a fight can be won by Scarlett if Storm gets used as a spell. Just conceptually. I don't think Scarlett can win. Hydra Ling both get... Like, this is a minute 7 composition, right? Hydra Ling. Like, you all in with Hydra Ling at minute 7:30. That's it, with +1 attack, you know? Right now, instead of +1 attack, we have +2 attack. But it's also 14 minutes into the game. So it's like... This is not good enough. We're now adding in Banelings. We're getting an Ultra Cavern. It feels like Scarlett is just experimenting during the game. Usually you do the experimenting in practice, and then during the game, you know, whichever experiments were successful get used here. But now we're seeing live iterations happening in the unit composition. It's rare to see. It is rare to see someone do that in a tournament game. But Scarlett is apparently capable of it. Let's see if Jumi is going to give her the chance. 16 more Hydras on the way. So we're gonna go up to, what is that, 35? Okay, I am not feeling this. We get chitinous plating, we get a new spire, because I guess the main one... Oh, it's actually gonna stay alive. Maybe for double the upgrades. 67 workers against 77. It's not like Jumi is doing a whole lot either. He's actually just messing carriers. Funnily enough, I think carrier is one of the only compositions in late game that could potentially still lose. If you're playing like high immortal counts and you have Tempest out, I think you're pretty much safe. But if you're playing high carrier counts, life becomes much, much harder. Generally. So we'll see what's going to kick off over here. Lings running in. Cannon being targeted down. Pop, pop. There we go. This cannon being targeted down as well. At the same time, we have carriers coming in from the right side. Couple of storms that zone. Arkans moving in forward. It's going to be a tough battle. Banelings probably need to come from the sides. We have one storm remaining. Hydra count is pretty significant here, though. What do we actually have? There's 33 in total, and a lot of them have just killed a base. 14 more Hydras are coming out right now. Arkans are busy falling. Microbial Shroud gets used. This is a rare sight, and oh, what a sight it is, my dear friends. I did not know that that spell still existed, but yes, it still is in the game as we're gonna shade him forward. Microbial Shroud, of course, sticks to the Hydras a little bit longer. That has been changed in the most recent patch, I believe it is. Hydra then now gets blasted. Jumi stays alive, probably loses a lot of interceptors though. What is the interceptor count? We're at 26 and we have 7 carriers. So yeah, a lot of interceptors went down. A lot of bases went down for Scarlett. If Scarlett had good enough eco behind this, she'd be winning right now. But the eco actually isn't good enough. And thus, I don't think Scarlett is winning. We get a couple of Void Rays in the mix. We get Immortals that are being added in as well. I think really the main focus should be here on the Templar. Because the main focus of Scarlett is going to be on those Hydras. So Storm seems like the natural counter to all of that. We get a couple of Corruptors now into the mix as well. We get +1 armor that's being researched. I think we already have +2 attack done. 12 more drones on the way too. And we're starting to add more and more gases. So we're going to go up to at least 9 gas. I think the main's probably empty though, yeah. So make that 8 gas. This is still mining, but it's about to dry up as well. Third base is getting closer and closer to drying up. Fourth base is very healthy. So we could definitely have like 6-ish, 8 gas still mining for at least a little bit. Get double robot, maybe for disruptors. If this is Colossus, I'll be shocked. I don't think we actually ever see that. A couple of OVs are gonna get taken out. That sucks because Scarlett actually isn't that Overlord Ridge. I'm gonna get supply block here. New Infestor coming out. Carapace about to finish up for the air as well. +3 air weapons for Jumi is about to be done. Here we go. Scarlett's gonna commit with the Corruptor. This is chaos. This is pain. Fungal is hitting here as well. As the Hydras now try to move in forward. And the zoning storms are good enough to just kill this entire army, I think. Yeah. GG's gonna get called. Jumi's going to win this series with a 2-0 score.